Record. Okay, so I wanted to talk about something that I shared. I actually shared this on the Team Inspire page a couple months ago. So Carrie, you'll recognize it. Well, actually, Vanessa probably won't. Jesse probably won't. Jill, you might recognize this. I shared it a couple months ago because I felt like it was something that was really, really impactful and pretty profound that Melanie Mitro shared on her own page. And I think it happened to pop up in my news feed because people I'm friends with were commenting on it. And I feel like this last couple of weeks has been a little discouraging for a lot of people. For me personally, March has been a slower month. Raise your hand if March has been a slower month for you, right? It's usually very ebbs and flows. And Carrie can attest to this. Carrie's been a coach, what, Carrie? Almost 3 years? 3. So she knows that it ebbs and flows. This business is not all the time super fast and everybody's interested and everybody wants to do what you're offering. Sometimes we have months that are just slow. And Carrie can attest to the fall being usually pretty slow for us. The beginning of the year, January, February is usually a little bit faster. So March for me happened to be slower. I had to pay more money than I normally do for my ad. I was at 0 Success Club points as of 3 days ago. So sometimes as a new coach or even like a little bit more seasoned coach, you can feel like everybody else is moving faster. Everybody else is earning Success Club faster and has no problem earning it. But after doing this for 3 years, I can still tell you I was at 0 points 3 days ago. So it's not like all of a sudden we all have people flocking to us and it's so easy to have new customers and to have people that want to do our challenge groups. It still takes work. And for me now, instead of inviting 50 people, I pay Facebook money to show 50 people to get 50 messages basically about my post. And then I work through those messages to have some customers. So what I had to do this month, just a few days ago, was boost my post on my like page, and I had to pay more money than I normally do. I paid $200 to boost my post, and I was kind of pausing it as I went with my assistant. She kind of watches it, and then she'll pause it for me when we get some messages, and then depending on how those messages look, we'll unpause it. We after $20, was it $20? We paused it because we got like 20 messages. But none of them were super promising as she was going through them. So we unpaused it again and we stopped it with $11 left. I'm bad at math, but I think that's $189. And I'm at Success Club 6 today. And I have 1 or 2 more that are going to be ordering today or tomorrow. Now, I don't count on that till I see it in my back office. But the point is, I had to pay more up front, but I've already made my money back because those 3 challenge pack sales I've had were directly from that post and me paying Facebook to share it. So I did make my money back. It doesn't always go that way. Sometimes I lose a little money. Sometimes I make money. It just depends. But anyway, it's been a little discouraging for some people. My sister was texting me tonight, frustrated. And so anyway, I wanted to share something with you guys that I loved that some of you will recognize, but I wanted to read it with you. Where is it? Here it is. Okay. So she did this post and did this picture that says, fair weather fan. Are you in it for the long haul? She says, I had someone ask me this. Okay, so you say everyone can be successful at this business. Well, if that's the case, why isn't everyone successful? Good question, because those that are successful are not fair weather fans. They aren't only in it during the busy times when the sun is shining and people are interested. The successful coaches are the ones that are in it for the long haul, the slow months, the ups and downs, growing pains and tribulations. They are consistent in their business no matter what the circumstances may be. There is no hokey pokey. It's just all in 100% of the time because you believe that the hard times are part of the process and that any business isn't always sunshine and roses. You want a successful business, then be in it for the long haul. No fair weather fan here. I'm doing my thing no matter if no one listens, you can bet your bottom dollar I will still be here because I know this is where I'm supposed to be. So when I read this, I was like, oh my gosh, all new coaches need to hear this because we tend to like our mood is like, if we're seeing success and people are interested, then we're like, yeah. And if they're not, then we feel like crap, right? And our mojo is down, and we feel like the whole world is ending because nobody's interested. And it's a real thing though. Like, it really is discouraging. And I go through the same thing when I've, paid Facebook $100 and I don't have anybody interested. I'm like, well, this sucks. Like, what am I doing wrong? And you start to question yourself and question what you're doing and question how you're inviting, right? You start to question how you're talking to people and whether you're doing something wrong. And 90% of the time, I can say truthfully on our team, you're not doing anything wrong. Why? Because I happen to attract people that are good people. Persons, people. I don't know how to say that. But I don't attract people that are just selling something to make money. I attract people who actually care about helping people because that's who I am. So most of the time, it's nothing you're doing wrong. It's just one of those slow times and it's one of those, what does she call it? Fair weather fan issues, where it's like, you can't just bail because nobody's interested. So this is when I always tell people to go back to, how are you doing on your own journey? Even my sister tonight, who is frustrated because she wants to reach diamond so bad, and she's doing all the right behaviors. She's talking to people about being a coach. She's inviting people to her challenge group. She's reaching for Success Club 5 every month. But she's struggling. And I just had to remind her and say, it takes time, and you have to make sure that when you're frustrated, what I try to do is pour my heart into my challengers. Because my challengers are where I change lives, truly. I mean, that's the beginning of the life change, right? When I can help someone see results with their physical body, with their emotional body, with their mental health, I can help them see results that way, and that's where the journey really starts. There are not very many people that I have seen so far that do well in this business that don't have a transformation. I don't think I know anybody that does well that doesn't have a personal, strong belief in the programs and in the products. So that's where the whole thing starts. Now, sometimes it can be a little different, and you can start doing Beachbody programs at the beginning of your coaching career. But if you don't get that transformation, then it doesn't really go very far, because it's like, I don't really care. If it doesn't work for you, why would it work for anyone else? So that's where it starts. So when I'm frustrated, I pour my heart into my challengers and try to focus on them, and I'll go message the ones that aren't posting, and reach out to them. And that's actually what I did today. I reached out and said, how are you doing? Like, can I help you? You've been a little bit quiet. So I was just worried, about you, and wanted to make sure I'm doing my part to help you. And 90% of the time they'll open up and say, oh my gosh, I'm failing, or I need extra help, or whatever. And it gives me a chance to have someone to work with where I can help them start to see results and believe in themselves, even when everything else seems frustrating. So this is what I wanted to share tonight, just based on the mojo of, I've been struggling with the same thing. How do I get my thing back? Hang on a second. I've been struggling with the same thing. My sister's been struggling with the same thing. And so I wanted to share that tonight. And if you guys want to look at this on your own, it's if you search in the Team Inspire page, what did I search? I think fair weather, actually. You can search fair weather and it will pop up. Okay, there we go. Okay, so if anybody has any questions, comments, anything you guys want to talk about tonight, like Jessie messaged me today and said, what did you messaged me something about someone that she thought would make a good coach, but was struggling with, she was drinking every night and having like half a soda. And so Jessie's like, I want to approach her about coaching, but then I get this message from her. And so I helped walk her through how to talk to this girl. We put a plug in for coaching and then started talking to her about her habit that she is trying to work through or whatever. So if you guys have something like that, you want help with wording or anything like that. Jessie, did that help? Did you end up messaging her?
I messaged her and she said she was going to try, but she really didn't say anything about the coaching thing at all. She said she was going to try tonight and the rest of the week to kind of like half it.
Yeah, I would just leave it. So I love to put plugs in like that for coaching, and then I kind of just leave it. Let me show you guys what I helped Jessie with really quick, just so you guys can see what I had her do. Sometimes seeing examples can help, and this is just a good resource for you, but hang on a second. I got to look it up. Okay. Okay, so she says, I have a girl in a challenge group. She's seriously standing out in the crowd. I've told my husband she would make such an amazing coach a dozen times. Not 100% sure how to approach it, but she messaged me this morning and said she's struggling so bad with having a cocktail. That's what it's called, a cocktail.
It's like crawfish.
I know. I don't drink alcohol, so I don't know those terms. You should ask Carrie when we're on our diamond retreat. I'm always like, okay, so what's that? And let me smell it. Okay. She messaged me this morning. She's struggling with having a cocktail. She's having one every single night. She did it without it the first 2 weeks of our group, but she's slacking now. She's doing 21-day fix. I don't drink, so I don't really know how to help her still get help her get her fix and still stay on track. Do you have any advice? So this is what I said to tell her. You're not perfect, and that's okay. You have stood out from the crowd from the beginning to me, and I was just telling my husband what an amazing coach you would make. So don't let the fact that you have a vice get you down. We all have something like that. And I may have added in there what my vice is, right? Like mine is sugar. So I may have said mine is totally sugar, and I struggle with it every day. If that's luckily not the case, but there are times when it is. Are you in a place where you could cut down to half a shot of whiskey and a fourth of a Coke, or do it every other night? Or are you afraid it's hindering your results more, or more want to get out of the habit for other reasons? So what I did, the first thing was I wanted to put a plug in for coaching, only because Jessie had thought that. Like she had said to her husband over and over. When people say to me, how do I talk to someone about it? I say, tell them what you think. Like, why are you thinking about her? Why? And I may have changed that a little bit if I was, if I wanted to, and said, you'd make such an amazing coach because you are so encouraging or so helpful to everyone else, or you're so, you know what I mean? I would have told her why I thought about her. And then gone on to say, don't let it get you down, and then ask her more questions. Ask her more questions to see if it's the habit she wants to break because she doesn't like the fact that she's kind of addicted to it, or if it's just that she's afraid it's hindering her results, to find out more information. And then when she didn't come back and say anything about coaching, I wouldn't say anything more right then. I would help her with her, whatever, the thing she's wanting help with, her alcohol and that thing first, and then help her cut back to a certain amount, and then help her work through that if I could. And then maybe a little bit later on, put another plug in for coaching after. Or she may take that plug and who knows, in a week say, I think I want to know more about it. How does it work, or whatever. Okay, so does anybody else, if you guys either want to unmute yourselves or chat in the box, if you have a question or anything you guys want to talk about, or something you're struggling with, etc.
I have something.
Yes.
More. So I have 2 challenge groups right now, 3 if you count the one I'm throwing in with y'all. One started, this is their last week for one of them. And then my next one, this is their week number 2. And just about every one of them's doing the 21-day challenge. And they're like dead. And it's like my first one that's in like week 3, it's the last week now. They started out, everyone was engaging. I was like, this group is awesome. There's 11 people in it. So it's totally different than your group together.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, this is totally black and white compared to what I did with you. And everyone was engaging and motivating. It's like week 3, everyone's like, they rated their weekend like a 4 and a 5. And it's like, they're just like throwing in the towel already. And I don't really know how to approach it. And I don't know if they're getting burnt out or.
Do you remember what we did with that one group? We jumped on that call. That's one option, is just to do like an honest post. I'm pretty blunt, and I just say, like, you guys, it's too quiet in here. And usually 99% of the time, I would say, if they're quiet, it means they're not doing well. Because people, when they don't do well, they just kind of like, well, maybe if I don't get in here, then, then it'll be okay and I can just not do well. So I will usually do like a big post saying, it's too quiet, I want to know. And like, speak from your heart so that they feel comfortable to open up. So it's not like I'm going to beat you all because none of you are doing the program. It's like, tell me what you're struggling with. Tell me what I can do to help you. Tell me just to open up and say, I know people aren't really engaging, and usually that tells me people aren't doing well. So tell me what you're struggling with, or something like that. If the ones that don't respond on that, I would send a personal message to. This is what I do. And just reach out to them personally and say, I did it today with a couple people, just saying, you've been quiet in the group, and I just wanted to check in with you and see how you were doing. And every time they're like, I'm not doing good. And I just have to remind them, like, it's okay. Because if this was just like a 21-day thing and then it was done, then that would be so silly. And I guess that's some people's, like, that's their idea of being healthy is like 21 days and then we can go back to normal. But just to reassure them and make them feel okay, that they're not perfect, and that the sooner they start working at it again and not letting discouragement take over, that's usually what I do. And honestly, I have to let go of the ones who just don't want it, because there's nothing. In fact, a girl messaged me back today and was like, there's really not much you can do because I have to do the work. And I messaged her back and I said, I understand that. Could we scale back and like work on 2 workouts a week? So I kind of find out where they're at. Like, are you eating healthy at all? Or are you working out at all? Kind of to rate themselves in a way. And then I try to meet them like halfway. So instead of, if they're doing nothing, I'm not going to be like, hey, jump on the bandwagon again. I'm going to say, let's work on 3 workouts a week and improving your eating from a 4 on the scale to a 6, or a 4 to a 5. So that it's something they feel like they can handle, instead of feeling so overwhelmed that they have to do it all perfectly.
I feel like everybody, like even I have the graduate challenge group from the 4 girls I had with you.
Yeah.
I completely, like on Friday, I said, no one's engaging. I'm the only one talking in this group. That tells me y'all have fallen off. And I said, has anybody continued their journey? Have y'all repeated it? Talk to me. What's the deal? I'm the only one talking. And all 4 of them. Let's start Monday. So here we go. Over the weekend, I'm grocery listing with them and so excited. They're amped up. And on Monday, it's like dead. And now I'm like, do I just attract the people who are just so discouraged? And it makes me discouraged.
Hang on a second. I'm like roasting to death, but I'm also in, sweats. Hang on.
That's fine.
Someone else can pipe in too if you have ideas. Hang on while I try to open my window. There we go.
And I feel like you say, like, I come to you all the time and I'm like, how do you find coaches? And you're like, watch your challenge groups. And I'm like, all these people are so discouraged. Like, I will never have a coach under me at this rate.
Yeah, you will. This is the thing. Of all the people I work with, what's my like ratio of people I've worked with to coaches? I mean, Carrie will tell you too, if I have a challenge group that's like 5 people, I'll maybe have 1 that sticks out to me, maybe. Sometimes 2 if I'm lucky, but it's not a huge amount. And honestly, my last 2 groups have been very similar. Not super. I think I've had 1 person from my last 2 or 3 group. Well, I mean, let me look at my list. I have them right here. Honestly, I haven't had 1 that was in my challenge group since January that I've been able to like pinpoint and have be a coach. So I really don't take it personally, because think about it. You're providing them with a workout program. Well, they're providing themselves with that. A workout program, a nutrition plan, a support group. What the freak else are you going to, like, what else are you supposed to do? You can't push play for them. You can't force them. So it is hard, because you can start to question yourself and start to question like whether you're doing something right or wrong, but it's really not you. You're doing everything. You're in there every day plugging in. It's not you, it's them. So, and I wouldn't necessarily be like, oh, you guys are so irritating. I post in my graduate group, whether people post or not. I'm in there every day and I will do a post. And if they ignore me, I'm like, sucks for you. I'm held accountable. Like, I don't really care. I will tag people sometimes and say, this is ridiculous. This group has 100 people in it and nobody is commenting on this. But you can't take your personal responsibility for their actions, because they have to meet you halfway, and really they have to meet you more than halfway because it's their journey. So don't let it discourage you. You do your part, and you can reach out to them, once or whatever, and say, how can I help you more? If they ignore you, that's and that's sad, but because you're there to help. But don't take it personally. As best.
I think I'm just in that discouraging mood because I didn't sell anything this week, and I've been hurt this week. So it's just like,
I know I've been in that same place, and that's why I was even doing this call, because a lot of people have been in that same place, just frustrated. Let me see this chat. Okay, my question is, didn't you mention before how you separate certain activities on certain days, like inviting, focusing on coach calls? So you aren't doing everything every single day except the 3 vital behaviors. How do you separate things so you don't get overwhelmed and don't fall through the cracks? People don't fall through the cracks. I don't really separate. I have a to-do list. Crap, it's not down here. It's upstairs. I have a to-do list that's the same every day, where I check into my challenge groups. First I do my first post on my fitness page for the day. And then I schedule out 2 other posts. That's supposed to be the first on my to-do list. And then I go into my challenge groups. I comment on, I catch up kind of from the day before, whatever I didn't see the day before. And then I post in my challenge groups. And then I will do messages on both my fitness page and my personal page. I've delegated a lot of that though, so I don't do nearly as much of that anymore, but that's how it was before. And then I will do, what else is on that list? Then I check into my coach groups and comment and post as I need to. But I basically do the same to-do list every day. I do have it scheduled out when I do a challenge group post. Because I run everything on my fitness page now, it's a little different. I don't personally invite anymore. And so I will schedule out my posts. I'll remind myself, like, hey, today you need to do a challenge group post, and this week you need to do a coaching at a glance post. And Carrie will be so proud of me. I've been using my calendar still since January. Carrie's known me for a lot of years. And did I do that before? I was like a mess. I didn't know what day it was and what I was supposed to do the week before. So I do schedule that out because I have to have reminders. Otherwise, I don't know what I'm doing. And then I have time slots open for people to schedule calls with me. But that's on a website that people go to and can schedule. Does that help, Ashley? I feel like that wasn't really super. And you guys, I do things way different now than I used to. I used to do, I guess I should have answered it this way. I used to do on Mondays, I would make my list of 25 people. I invited 25 people a week when I really started to get serious about being consistent with numbers, because before that I was kind of like 2 every day and I wanted to amp it up. So I would make my list. I'd work from my big list, right, of like my hundreds of names. I went through every Facebook friend I had and literally wrote their name on a piece of paper. And so at the beginning of the week on Monday, I would work through that list and invite all 25 people in one day. And then I'd spend the rest of the week following up with them. And other than that, I didn't really have a schedule. I just did inviting all in one day instead. Anyone else have a question or a comment or anything you guys want to talk about? You can type it or unmute yourself, whatever. Okay. If you did not listen to the beginning of this, I recommend you go back and listen to the recording, which I will post in the morning. I got to add that to my to-do list. I'm going to add it to this to-do list because it's not a to-do list, but my to-do list is upstairs. Because we had a good reminder about a really good post I shared on the team page a couple months ago that I talked about that is very applicable if you're feeling frustrated or down or etc. And another thing to think about is doing your personal development. When I was at Christy Anderson, when I were talking last week, and she was frustrated, and I said, and she can't work out. So I said, you need to immerse yourself in personal development and make sure you're taking care of you. And sometimes it doesn't have to be reading a book. Sometimes it can be taking a bubble bath or whatever lifts your spirits and lifts you up so you can help other people. You have to be doing that like times 1,000 when you're not feeling, when you're frustrated or when you feel defeated. That's huge. And that's something I didn't really start doing till this year, which is ridiculous. But I spent 6 months not doing that when I really should have been doing that. Okay, Vanessa has a question. I invited a bunch of people last week and didn't hear back from more than 2 of them at all. How long do you wait before bugging people again, or do you just leave them alone? I will follow up after like 2 days, 2 or 3 days, and just say, hey, I'm not sure if you got my last message, even if you can see they read it. And I will say, what am I thinking? Oh yeah, I'll just say, I didn't want to leave you out in case you were interested, but our group starts on X, Y, and Z. And I always put it on them. Like, I don't want to leave you out. I don't ever talk about like, my group is starting and I need 3 more Success Club points. So, you know, you got to write me back. I just am very much about them and say, I didn't want to leave you out. If you're not interested, that's really not a big deal. Just let me know, because I don't want to leave you out if you want to join us. Sometimes people intend to write you back and they forget. Sometimes they really aren't interested and they are ignoring you. But as I've said on team calls before, sometimes I'll get a text or even a message on Facebook that I'll read through really quick. And I'm like, oh yeah, I just got to go eat lunch and then I'll get back to them. And then I forget if I don't hit unread, like mark as unread. And in a text, you can't do that. Or can you? Can you mark it? You can't remark a text like new again, right? So I forget to do text messages all the time. And then the person will send me a text like a couple hours later or like the next day. And I'm like, oh, I forgot to respond. So I try to think of it that way. But I wait 2 or 3 days. Anyone else? Or are you guys all going to go to bed? Carrie's already in her jammies. Trevor's in his jammies. Okay, I'm not sure how next week's going to go and what I'm going to do. I may just combine. We are having the team calls still, but it's going to be a little bit different format. My husband's going to China tomorrow, and I'm kind of a baby, and I can't handle a lot of stress, and so I try to modify when he's gone. So anyway, I'll let you guys know about next week for a call, but we may just combine again. So have a great night. Sleep good. Go do personal development if you're struggling. Mine is right here. I'm still on this one, but I have 2 chapters left, you guys. Furthest I've ever been in a personal development book. Okay, we'll talk to you guys later. Have an awesome night.